Hey Saber fans, this is Grey Paladin, and I have a review of the Aegis Sabers Bastion. Short story on this, I had ordered this from Aegis Sabers Etsy Shop, and after many long weeks and poor communication, I ended up canceling this order, and 2 weeks after canceling the order and getting a refund, I received the saber in the mail. So I contacted the shop owner and told him that I would ship the saber back to him because I don't think it's ethical to keep a saber that I did not pay for. But before I do that, I thought it would be best to share the content with you and give you a review in case you're interested in such a saber. So I'll first begin with the dimensions. From the top of the emitter to the base of the pommel, it's only 9¼ inches long. This is a very short saber. I would almost classify this as a shoto. And I'll show you a comparison to the Pock Store Flight standard budget saber. As you can see, it's quite a bit longer. It's almost 2 inches longer than the Bastion. So in my book, this almost falls in the shoto category. And it has a diameter or grip width of 1.2 inches. Blade depth pretty deep, 1¾ inches going in there. And if you open up the pommel, it actually does not have a resonance chamber, but the volume is plenty loud. See, the speaker is right up against the edge there, and it goes right to the end of the pommel. But when I fire this up, you'll hear that volume is not an issue, and the sound quality is actually pretty good on this. And this saber weighs in at 10½ ounces, so not too heavy there. Again, this feels more like a shoto to me. Going through the close-ups here, we'll start with the pommel. As you see here, it's got a nice little grip there around the edges, and then several holes for venting of sound. It has a faux leather wrap, which feels quite good in the hand. Nice, comfortable grip. There on the side, we have a 2.1mm recharge port, and then an blue illuminated activation switch. And this is interesting. Here on the opposite side, adjacent to the recharge port, we have an auxiliary switch. And it's very smooth, as you can see there, blends in very well with the housing that's around it. And at first I thought this would be pretty nice because when you do the saber here, push that button, and then you've got that right on the side, while you're swinging around. But when it comes to balance points and things like that, especially if you have it came with a 36-inch blade. So with the 36-inch blade and the balance point is much higher, which means the auxiliary button isn't in the most practical position. But it was a good idea. I have a small choke point here. And then we get into the emitter, and right there you've got some ridges, which feels very good if you're going to spin at that point. And then we have 10 emitter windows, and there's some parallels here to the Flight Pock Store, but that has 6 windows in the emitter. Now, something interesting I discovered. This top of the emitter here, this actually unscrews. And at first I thought, why would that be? A very short thread. But I think maybe if you remove this, you could probably fit a Suba on there. And maybe the one from the Pock Store might fit. But I think this allows you to put a Suba on there. So that's interesting. But I do like how this emitter ring flares out at the top, almost like a torch or something. You have a LED retention screw right there, and then one blade retention screw right here. When you do plug it in to charge it, the switch will illuminate, and when it's all done, it'll tell you that the charging is complete. Let's take a look at the inside. Though the pommel is removable, there's no need to really have that off, because to get access to the board, you want to unscrew the body from the emitter. And that's done right here. You do want to be careful because the wires do twist in there a little bit. So I try to use a little caution and not twist it too much because these wires could get brittle and break. But this has a Chinese version of a prism. So it's not a Plector Labs prism, but it's similar there too. It has a removable 18650 lithium ion battery. And then you also have a micro SD card there. And from here, it works it's modeled after Plector Labs. So I put it into the computer and I checked it, and all the banks, all the files, things like that, the fonts are formatted just like Plector Labs. It does have a 28mm bass speaker in there, which is pretty cool. And the sound is pretty good. So right there, you just push that and your SD card will pop out, put that in your computer, and you can make changes. It has a total of 6 sound banks and 12 default colors. So as I said before, it has 6 sound banks, and I'm not sure of the name of all of them, but I got most of them. So to power the Saber on, just press and hold your AV switch.
Activation.
And once it's powered on, it boots and tells you activation. And then from there, just press your button to turn on. You have swings. It's not smooth swing, but it does respond very well. And you have clash. And then if you press your auxiliary switch, you get blaster deflection. Press and hold for lockup. And you also do have force on this. Press and hold the auxiliary switch while you swing. Then press and hold to power off. And what's nice about this, it does have, when you press the button or power on, it will fade in and out for the light to try to make it look more realistic. So I'm not sure which font that was. It sounds similar to Revan, but if you know, please put it in the comments down below. The next sound bank is going to be Gray Meat from Plector Labs. To change fonts, just press and hold the auxiliary switch. And then you'll hear your boot sound and then power up. The next sound bank is going to be a Vader Sound font. This one is interesting because when you power it on, you have the hum. Darth Vader breathes throughout the entire hum, so that's interesting. And during that lockup, he breathes faster. Hopefully you heard that. I'll do it again. I'm not sure what this next sound bank is. If you want to change colors, you just press and hold the auxiliary switch and the AV switch at the same time.
Switch color.
And it'll give you that confirmation of switch color. And just do that till you find the color that you like.
Switch color.
The next sound bank is going to be light meat. And then the last sound bank is Hoth. I have not discovered, this did not come with a manual, so I had to figure out all the functions myself, but I could not discover how to do a volume change on this. But once you plug the SD card into your computer, you can change the volume through the config file, and you can also work with some of the blade timings and things like that too. And you can also change the colors, just go through and you can change the flash on clash color as well as the blade color per profile. So overall, I mean, this little saber does kind of offer a lot, and I think this would be a great option for an offhand. Like I said, it's a great Shoto size. So pretty decent saber all in all. And also, when you change your colors on the saber, if you power down and turn it back on, it will save your last selection. So that's the Aegis Sabers Bastion. I wanted to get that review out to you so you can check that out. And then this is going to ship back to the shop owner. And that way he can sell this to someone else and keep his business going strong. So thank you very much for watching. And may the Force be with you.